Okay, so today we are talking about plastic surgery. This has a lot to do with expectations, what to expect, some myths, some tips, just to have something smooth. My name is Chelsea Phillips. I have gotten plastic surgery, which is where some of my experience comes from, but most importantly, my business is called Sculpt the Body Studio. So I've been open for the past 7 going on 8 years, and a major part of my business is post-operative. So in terms of post-op massages and yeah, so just as a preface, this is my experience. This is from people that I've seen. I've probably seen, I don't want to count falsely, but I would say it's probably about a quarter of my business in terms of people that are coming to see me post-op and just even continue throughout the years. So, yeah, probably about a quarter of my business. So, which would mean that in the 8 years, I've seen over 1,000. So, anyway, that it's not that say that number is so huge because also, you know, right? We want to keep it going. So anyway, so this is where my experience comes from. This is where my tips come from, as I said, through myself and through this. So recently, one of the biggest myths that I've gotten is about the smell of BBL smell. Okay. What I want to explain now, when you get plastic surgery and really when you get liposuction, the doctors are injecting this almost like a saline. It's a whole it's a formula. I maybe I'll put it in the description or maybe like I'll write it on the screen of what it is, but literally they're putting that in your body and it's a toxin, so it's something that your body cannot absorb. But what the purpose of putting that in there is to kind of like help break down some of the fat, make it come out easily, because guess what, when they're putting that cannula, so how liposuction works, it's literally a tube. They're inserting it in you and they're sucking fat out. So again, that's what I'm saying is they're putting this solution in. Now, so guess what? When you're draining, so after in your post-op care, and one of my main jobs as giving post-op care is I need to get that fluid out of your body. It is a toxin, it cannot absorb. So even a lot of that first uncomfortability is because that fluid is in your body. So even for me, my goal when I see people, ideally, I want you to come as soon as possible while your incisions are still open, because we want to drain that. So as much as people think that's blood that's coming out, no, it's that concoction of saline. It's as I said, it's a formula, and I'll put it in here. But so yeah, so that's what's coming out, and that's what we're trying to get out. It is a toxin. So anytime you have a toxin inside of your body is doing whatever it can for it to come out, right? Even when we drink alcohol, that's literally a toxin. Your body, you're going to be peeing, it's coming out. And just like alcohol, right? So when you have something toxic that your body cannot absorb and it cannot go through your skin, it's going to come out of your pores. So I don't know if you've ever smelled somebody that was drinking so much liquor, you're like, oh my goodness, like I smell the liquor on you. It's coming out of your pores. So all that to say, sometimes that BBL smell, especially in post-op, right? That is literally just the toxins coming out your body. That is normal. You're healing. You're putting on your faja. It's really tight. Your faja probably is not smelling so great. You're probably not washing your skin as well as you need to. You're staying home, whatever. So there's that. And I'll tell you this, as much as it's also, as I said, there's toxins coming out, right? Okay. So as much as you scrub your body, which you can, as well as you can, if it's coming out your pores, there's not that much you could do, okay? Your goal is to get that all out your system. So that is through massages, that is through drinking plenty of water. You are draining, okay? So that's something, and again, that solution, probably we can get through massages, through the open incisions, probably getting about up to 80%. You can't get 100%. Now also, so the rest is gonna come out through your body. Your body's always fluid, your lymphatic system is always working. You're always, first of all, there's toxins all around us, okay? And a lot of the toxins even that we're consuming in our food, we're putting in our lotions, are things that literally cannot be absorbed either. So there's that. And that's why even when people say, once you stop eating so much junk food, like you smell better, yes, because your body's not having to get rid of so many toxins, it's eating natural food. Okay, so BBL smell. Now, there's another flip side to BBL smell. Now, just like, okay, I'm trying to think of how to say this nicely, but like, you know how sometimes when you're bigger, you have to be way more on your hygiene? Yeah, okay. Speaking from experience. Now, when you're bigger, you have to be more on your hygiene. Okay, you sweat more, you're carrying more weight. I don't know if anybody's ever worn a weighted vest, right? That weighted vest could be like 16 pounds, and let me tell you, you feel like you're climbing Mount Everest going up a flight of stairs because that extra weight on you, okay? That's more than what your body is used to holding. So I'm saying that to say, when you're after surgery, for one, even, I mean, you're carrying more. And I'm saying that, okay, so people that get BBL smell, maybe they're just not used to, or as I said, I don't know what the smell is. I don't believe that there's a specific smell you get from BBL. I just don't believe that. But I can say maybe people aren't used to the hygiene required to a new addition, right? Okay, I say that to say. So make sure, like, I I even know a girl that was like, when she got her butt done, like she felt like every time she used the bathroom, she had to take a shower. But that's just somebody who's not used to, like you shouldn't have to take a shower every time you use the bathroom, right? Okay, there's things you could do. Okay, anyway. So now another myth I want to talk about also is that surgery is the easy way out. No, it's not. No, it's not. So get that out of your mind, because that's going to lead just into unrealistic expectations. It is not the easy way out. It costs money. There's downtime. Um, time consuming, painful. So if you feel like, oh, it's 5 pounds, oh, I just don't feel like going to the gym. If you feel like that's something that could be solved even in a year of going to the gym, yeah, this is not going to be the easier way. Okay, does that make sense? And I don't want to even say it's a lazy way. It's just it's an alternate way. Okay, so there's that. And that's a big thing too. I do want to speak on just surgery depression. This is very real. I've experienced it myself. I've seen a lot of clients, and I think sometimes just having these expectations, I think that with it being something that's now talked about so normal, we have these expectations. We see it on Instagram. We say, okay, if I go to this doctor, it's going to look like this, or once this happens, this. So I think it's very important when you're deciding to get surgery that you are aware of what your expectations are. And I'm talking about really aware. It's very, very, very easy to lie to yourself. I know, I think I did, looking back at it now. I think that there was reasons to why I wanted to do it. I know a big one, a lot of people say like, okay, it boosts your confidence. It will boost my confidence. I said that, right? And I hear that a lot of times. And not that it doesn't, but I think that if you have low self-esteem before you have surgery, you're not fixing it by just having surgery. And I think that having the expectation that it's going to be fixed, like, okay, my insecurity is my stomach and I feel like I have to hide it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so when I have surgery, I'm not going to have that insecurity anymore. Maybe you will not have that specific insecurity, but if you have insecurities based on the way you look, that is not going to change after surgery. And which is why you see, I think a lot of times we can get more insecure after surgery, right? It can lead to way, way, way more surgeries, because now you're like, okay, I need to fix this. I need to fix this. The ideal is perfection. So when I say manage your expectations, what do I think will come out of this? Okay, I know one thing is like, I'm going to be more attractive by men. More men will try to talk to me. I'm going to be more attractive. I'm going to get better treatment once I get this. Okay, right? Now, this is something that is very important. Now, if quantity is your goal, yeah, you're right. Probably. I don't know. I can't say that 100%. But again, now the question is, what type of people do you want? Now, there is a specific type of man that, and again, these people that they going after a certain type of girl, or what this looks like, maybe what they call it, like a baddie aesthetic, whatever. Okay. There's a certain type of men, they have so much experience in it, and so they know what to dangle, they know what to say, they know the type, right? And these people are so good at what they do, and they can find your weakness, play on your weakness, play, you know. So I'm saying that to say maybe it's going to be more on quality, quantity, but what is the quality? Okay. So as I said, people are going to be more so lusting after you. They're not so curious as to, oh, are you so. And again, that's not my job to say this won't make you more attractive, because I'm also not saying don't do it. So I'm not saying that, but I just think if that's your expectation, that those are the things that lead to that depression after surgery. Because I think sometimes we think like, okay, if I just have this, I'll be good. If I just do this, I'll be happy. And that type of mindset, that just leads to depression in general, in my personal opinion. Even if you say, okay, once I get married, once I buy this house, once I buy this car, once I have this job, once I have this promotion, all those certain things like, oh, I'll be just so happy, or this comes with that expectation is just, yeah. You know, I think I've seen so many people that, yeah, they go into a deep depression. I'm going to deal with guys that, you know, take me out to really, you know, they're going to do this for me, they're going to do that for me. And then you see that, like, it's still empty. Like, sometimes you look back and be like, dang, my high school boyfriend is better than this. Anyway, I don't want to get off a tangent on that. Okay. So, yeah. Now, another big truth about plastic surgery. Your doctor is probably, your doctor, just the surgery in general, is probably about 20%, okay, of what you're going to get. And that 20% really has to do with safety, you know, what type of regulations. So whereas, and maybe a little bit of technique, I'll say that, just even in terms of experience. So I think that when you are picking a doctor, you do want to see what they have experience in and do something to the experience. I want to go to somebody who does boob jobs every day and be like, "Ooh, I want you to do my nose." You know what I'm saying? And people that have similar starts, and look at their befores. This is how he's used to. So is he's doing slim people, he's doing big, you know, like, again, is he giving people this type of look, this type of look? Okay. So, but as I said, I wouldn't stress your life on choosing a doctor. I really, really wouldn't. I would make sure they're board certified. I would make sure, you know, like, look into basic records. Okay. But that's not as big as your aftercare and your pre and post op. Okay. So just meaning like your own body, your lifestyle, a lot of those things in terms of pre, your routines that you do, and then the post op, your faja, how you manage things, your massages, that is 80%. Your lifestyle afterwards, that is 80%, period. And yeah, there's nothing that you can prepare that for, period. Like, that's just going to be something. Because again, guess what? You can get fat taken out. It's not repellent. Does that mean it's not going to come back? And let me tell you, when you get liposuction, you think it comes out in a nice, beautiful, even sheet? No, they're pulling this out through this skinny cannula. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Every time something inserts into your body, you're getting scar tissue. Okay, so that's part of what the massages are doing, helping that scar tissue, because that scar tissue is what can now hold things, so like fat pockets and things like that. So anyway, massages are very, very, very important. And I'm not saying you have to come to somebody like me, but you should learn how to, I mean, if you can do it on your own, if you can show someone and someone can do it for you, but that is something very, very important. Okay. This is now a tip. So when I said doctors, it's not that big. Okay. These doctors that are marketing, because the other rule is saying overconsumption. But I'm saying, when we're stressing out and like there's so many doctors we're considering, and we're on Instagram and we're reading all these things, and then you see this girl, she's tagging her doctor, you're seeing this girl, she's tagging her doctor, keep your consumption to a minimum. Pick an area that you want to do it, pick a price point that you want to do it, read the reviews, but like, stop leading it so much, because you will start over consuming. And as I said, these doctors are marketing. And the thing about women, and I mean, women, we are the easiest people to market to. I mean, that's just a fact. Why? Because we're subconscious creatures, which means like we absorb so much, and we are an easy target. They play to our insecurities. Marketers pay billions and billions and billions of dollars to market towards women because we are their most lucrative one. So again, plastic surgery is a big one. You can see that, right? Like how many people are getting it because it's like, oh, I could do this, I could do this. So anyway, I'm saying that to say, do not let yourself be tricked by marketing, because every doctor is going to say, oh, this is the best. This is why you should pay me 20,000. Okay, you're taking the same anyway. To each his own. And again, do what feels comfortable for you. Pick your own budget. If 20,000 for lipo is what you feel like you should pay to get the best, okay, no problem. But I'm just here to tell you, again, you can have $100,000 lipo. Your post-op is still going to care more than the doctor. Okay, so there's that. So if you can afford 20,000, but don't go broke trying to say I need this doctor and you don't have enough for post-op care. You don't have enough to relax yourself after you have your surgery. You have to go right back to work because you just spent 20,000. Okay, so keep that in mind. And when I say overconsumption, especially once you book it, first of all, that's scary in itself, right? So once you book your surgery, my advice, I did not do this necessarily, but I would say moving forward, but try to kind of go into a quiet zone within your, like kind of detox from social media, because again, you don't want to add more fears to you. You don't want to talk yourself out, especially you paid your deposit, you chose your doctor. What are you looking at? You already chose him. So you don't want to start being like, oh, maybe I should have chose him. Oh, this price is even better. Once you secured it. Stop. Make your decision. Step away. And when I say also kind of go quiet, you want to kind of already be in a space of a little bit of removal a little bit from it, because even after surgery, you do not want to start looking on social media so much. So like kind of get yourself in a place where you're not on social media that much. You're not consuming and over consuming. And again, you could start looking at all these blogs that tell you to buy all these things, right? Let me tell you, I wouldn't even get that much stuff before. I would get the like basic necessities, and 9 times out of 10, the basic necessities your doctor will have. Everybody is different. Even you yourself, you can have the same surgery from the same surgeon 1 year apart. It's going to be different. Why? Because you are different. Even 1 year to 1 year. Are you exactly the same? No, you're not. Even in age, even in body, even in composition, even mentally, you're not the same. So there's nothing that you could prepare yourself for surgery, even if you've already gotten the same exact thing done you yourself by the same exact doctor. Your experience is going to be different every time. So overthinking it, you're going to spend so much money thinking of all the what ifs. No, guess what? Unless you're going to be in some remote country where you can't order anything, 9 times out of 10, you're going to do most of your recovery in America. You're going to do most of your recovery in your home where there is Amazon. You can order this, but just it keeps you from ordering so many things, okay? Because again, you don't know what you need, even in terms of vitamins. Like, it is not a one size fits all. You need to be able to, so that when I say take a step back before you have surgery, you need to be able to understand what your needs are. You need to know when you're thirsty. You need to know when you're hungry. You need to know when you're tired, listening to your body. And sometimes when we're in that zone of overconsumption, like noise, you don't even know how to recognize those things in your body. And connection to your body is so important in healing. I'm not even using the word post-op, in healing in general, okay? So whether you're physically healing, mentally healing from whatever, you have to be able to listen to your body. Okay, because even a doctor can tell you this, you need this based on your things. If you know your body, you could say what I need. Okay, I need rest, I need this. You could lie to yourself and say, okay, I'm really tired, but I need to work. So anyway, I'm saying that to say, take a step back. I wouldn't tell too many people that you are getting surgery, but I also wouldn't let it isolate you either. So think of somebody you can talk to, about it. Ideally, it would be somebody that's already had surgery. If not, somebody that's at least like open to it and or has done their own little research about it. Like just having somebody talk about, but I wouldn't put so much emphasis on that, honestly, because the thing about it, when you are not the test dummy of all your friends, okay? Because that's what will happen, right? you're the first one. None of your friends have gotten it. Like, oh, okay, now they've seen it, so now they're looking at you like, I can't even tell. Or, oh, you don't want that negativity. You are healing, and somebody that's already went through it, they know what to expect. So as I said, they're gonna help you be more kind to yourself, not over assess, because even as you're healing, you're like, there's so many fears in your head, especially the more you consume prior, right? Like, oh my goodness, is this fibrosis? Is this? I will tell you this, in my experience, in my knowledge, I gave you my preface already. It is so hard to get fibrosis. Like, you have to be so negligent to get it. And I think sometimes every time we feel a little bit of hardness, you're like, oh my goodness, is this fibrosis? Is this? Is this? Because you've seen all these horror stories, you've seen all these fear things. Swelling feels hard, okay? That's just part of it. So as I said, that cannula, like maybe somebody got a tummy tuck, doesn't have as much scar tissue, right? Because they opened them up, they sewed it down, blah, 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 blah. Lipo, while they're going like this a million times, they probably doing this and this and that, in and out, scar tissue every time, building every time it enters your body. Okay, like you have a lot of scar tissue, and that is going, as I said, it turns hard. That swelling, inflammation, it turns hard. Okay, did I have any other tips? Oh, okay. I wanted to talk about, I know a lot of people, they say like, okay, I want it to be really natural. Okay, like I'm gonna tell him like, I want a little butt. Okay, so misconception, or I guess a myth that we're saying, is that you can get some ginormous butt through your first BBL. That is a myth. For one, if you have a flat pancake butt, right, and I'm just using that as an example, if you have a flat pancake butt, they can inject all the fat in the world. Your body does not store fat there, right? Okay, so meaning like it's not used to that, which means that after they add all this fat, you will probably lose 80% of that. That's just a fact. So people that have these really fake or huge butts for their body, they're 3-4 times in, at least 3. That's not from the first go. Yeah, if you had a pancake, I'm telling you, yeah. So anyway, I'm saying that to say you're going to have natural in terms of BBL. Even if you have so much, like, yeah, it's the first time you do it, it's going to be natural. Unless you are seeking out, as I said, it's very intentional, the people that want what they call like a vixen shaped body. You're going to a specific doctor, they're doing it, like, so as I said, you don't have to go in saying I want it to look natural. It will, okay? Yeah, period. Now, you already have a big butt and you add more, that's when it can get very big, because that means that your body is used to holding fat there. Okay, so when you add more fat, I will say that, so keep that in mind. When you add fat, it is going to be bigger. If you already have hips, let me tell you, even just getting lipo 360, your hips will be bigger, period. I mean, we can go part 2 in that, and another time we can go into it. Okay. Another thing is trends is BBL out of style. And this is where it goes to like, what are your expectations? And what overconsumption means. I think that sometimes we can have an idea of like, okay, if I look like this, based on what I've seen of this, I'll get her result, right? So let's say, again, if you're a millennial, guess what? You grew up on Love and Hip Hop. You grew up on Basketball Wives. You grew up on WAC, right? So some of that is ingrained in us, right? So sometimes we say like, oh my goodness, like subconsciously, oh my goodness, these people live such a good life. They have this, they get to go shopping all day. I like their life. So if I want to have a life like that, what does that mean? Okay, that means I need to marry a basketball player. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, what type of girls and basketball players marry based on that? So be careful of that trap, which is why I say when you go quiet, when you start taking out your overconsumption, when you give yourself that detox of social media, you will be able to be honest with yourself to see what is driving you, what are your expectations, and seeing it that. So that is how I think that that is how you get into a trendy body, right? And that is going off of someone who has a result. Ideally, you want to look at your strengths and your weaknesses. And as I said, I'm not saying that because I think also, I'll say this, the decision to get surgery is a great step in towards I say great step. It is a step towards getting out of your comfort zone and just committing to something and seeing it through and following through and making an investment in yourself. So just even to say, like, I'm going to spend this amount of money on something that I don't like, or I want, right? So that type of mindset in itself, I think, is positive. And I think that yields good things. And I think that it brings you along a journey of what do I need to do to improve. Now, as I said, I do think that you learn through your journey. The things that you really want to fix are internal, but I think that doing this first is a good step because, again, sometimes our own limitations, like in terms of just, things I think that are holding me back. Okay, so once you get that flat stomach and you still not make, now you're like, all right, maybe something else needs to change, right? Or like, what else do I need to improve? Right. That just goes with trends. And even in terms of, I even have people say, like, that's too old. I'm telling you, one of my best success clients, or just I'll say one of my clients with the best post-op results was 65 years old. She had 2 kids. The second one just was graduating from their master's program. So she has like lived her life as an adult. And when I tell you, I saw this lady blossom in front of my eyes. She lost like over 100 pounds, and she had a tummy tuck and an arm lift for the loose skin. Anyway, her scar ended up looking like a tan line. Okay, so she just took such good care of herself. And it changed her life. I saw it with my own eyes. She ended up getting a whole new wardrobe, which she had to, but I think just so much more intentional in how she dressed, like her attitude, just everything. I just saw everything blossom. That's where the confidence comes from, not just from I'm doing this surgery, but it's really through the routines and putting yourself first, being intentional about investing into yourself and that you are important, that you should not be last. I do think so. I'm not saying put yourself before God. I'm not saying put yourself before your family, but you are deserving and you have needs, and your worth is not based on everybody else being happy. Like, you still have to pour from a full cup, right? So yeah, that's my advice for that.